Alright, so this is a demonstration of the Terrain Genie program I'm working on. Mostly done, but not quite. I gotta get a few more things. I'll probably describe it as I go. So when you start a game, of course, you gotta create a map. So typically you create a new terrain, add it to the scene, such as this one. And then of course you're gonna want to paint it, so you're gonna have to come in and add a texture to it. So we'll just add a texture real quick. So we'll go ahead and give it just some grass. It'll stand out a little bit better. Alright, and so that should color that up. And let's see. Alright, so we got our terrain covered in grass, and then typically you'd come in and use your deformation tools to raise or lower and to otherwise create your map and do different things. And so then you come in and you'll texture it and do all of that to get your playable map. So you probably understand all of this. So what my tool is designed to do is give you a really big head start on this whole thing. So what we're going to do is go ahead and delete this terrain real quick. We'll add another terrain. And then up here as your editor window, you'll go ahead and open the terrain editor, which it'll be Terrain Genie, but right now I'm just working on this version, which I used terrain editor, so it doesn't name conflict. Then you get this window here, and so we'll just dock it over here, and we're actually ready to go. So the two main commands are, or three I guess, apply map dimensions, flatten the terrain, or generate a terrain. And so you got these different settings, and then you'll notice the default width and height and depth of the current terrain you're working with, and that's just the default that Unity gives you. You can actually make these bigger, so if we wanted to make a bigger map, we could use 4,000, and then we could put 4,000 over here and apply the map dimensions, and you'll notice the map got bigger. So you can raise the height and such as well. These are still kind of a work in progress. Basically, when you deform the map, by default it'll deform the entire map, and this will allow you to deform just a section of the map. So if we actually generated that, you'd only get the 204, and then you can move the X and the Y, so if you kind of wanted to center it. So we can also flatten the terrain back out and regenerate it, and it'll generate it in the center there. And so that's just dynamically generated based on these settings. So we can just use, if we wanted this map, we could use that same, but we just maybe wanted a different layout. You can change the seed and generate it again, and then find the one that you really like. You can come in and add the amount of noise, so if you wanted more, which you probably wouldn't, but you could do that. This is good if you want a real smooth map and you use a lot of erosion and smoothing on it, and you can get a flat terrain. But typically you want just a small amount of Perlene noise there. So something around, I don't know, try 5. Generate, there you go. So you'll notice you got some jagged edges there and stuff, and so we can smooth those down, the amount of erosion we want to generate, which, smooth them out, or you could actually put a little less, or you could even do more passes, and of course this is pretty processor intensive, so the more you got. Currently I've got to get the edit undo in here so that you can undo the edits you made. According to Unity, they want that done. As well as I'm going to put in some progress bars for when you click these commands and stuff. But that's what I'll be doing tonight and tomorrow, and this should be just about ready. So same thing, we can smooth it down, which I guess that's a lot. So let's try smooth of about 25. There you go. So you get some ripples, or you can even go down more or whatever. I think you get the general point. So that's this is the current version of Terrain Genie. And then of course, the advantage to using this is that it just gives you a basic map. And so what your first task would be is, I'm going to build a couple of these maps, 40 of them actually, and put them in 4 groups of 10. And so that's the product that I would want to sell. By the end of the weekend I want to get that up, and Sunday night. So you can come in, and of course, because this is Unity Terrain, you can still come in and modify this terrain to work with it more, and get your desired effect. And of course that's probably not what you'd want to do, but you get the point. You can modify this, and it'll also take all the textures and all the trees and plants and stuff that the Unity terrain gets, and then it gives you the ability to start over and just regenerate that same terrain if you wanted to change it. I think that's about the basics of it here, and I will show you the next part that I'm working on. So once this is out, I'll be moving on to the texturing, which is coloring this in by default, and my next video I'll show you of that prototype I have working of that.